How's it going, everybody? It's Daniel from Full Tilt Drift, and today it's time for another update vlog. So, I'm going to let you guys know what's been happening over the very busy last couple weeks, and we're going to start with all the motors sitting on my garage floor. This motor you guys probably recognize because it's the blue motor out of my S14. Now that's the motor that I rebuilt after turboing it and blowing it up after like 2 weeks of being on 7 psi because the motor had 300,000 miles on it and it was not ready for boost. After I blew it up, we rebuilt it and threw it back in, and I took it to like 2 drift events before I was completely done with that motor giving me problems and switched to the 5.0. And after my buddy drove his S13 to my house and blew his motor up on the way, we decided to swap my motor into his car. My buddy's S13. My blue KA was only in his car for about a week before it threw a rod, and we don't really know why. It didn't lean out, it wasn't under boost when it did it, but here we are. And now my buddy has found a new route to go. So last night arrived this motor. This is an RB20 that he traded his knocking KA for. Came with a bunch of stock components, pretty much ready to swap into the car, even a cross member that's modified for it to fit. Came with the transmission that matches right up to a KA drive shaft. Only one problem. This motor's knocking also. So now the plan is for him to go pick up a good block for about $500 or $600, and we're going to take everything off this one, swap it onto that block, and throw it back in his car. The other news is about the 5.0 swap. Me and my buddy Matt took a trip to the junkyard and pulled a Mustang Transmission for the 5.0, so we can finally put that thing in and make sure that everything's going to work right before we take it to the track. Remember, when I bought this thing, the transmission was nuked. It had no synchros for 3, 4, and 5. So after a rebuild, it was making terrible whining noise, and I rebuilt it again, and now it's just, this thing's toast. I'm considering this transmission cursed. I'm going to keep it for a spare, but ultimately I had to get a new one. And here's the transmission we pulled out of the junkyard. It is a Mustang T5. It came off a V6, but it's going to go on my 5.0, and I am super stoked to get it on there. Once we get this transmission on there, we can make sure that it works fine, and then I can start driving the 5.0 around to work out all the little problems. Now, I know a bunch of you guys have been waiting for that how to swap a 5.0 into a 240 video, but I wanted to make sure that everything I did was going to work long term first. Now that I can throw this transmission in and make sure everything that I've done on the swap works, I can get that video out to you guys a lot sooner. Alright guys, last thing for the update video is a bunch of new videos coming out. I've got a ton of fabrication videos planned because I need a bunch of stuff for the shop. I need to get stuff cleared out of the way and make storage, and I'm going to need some new tools that I'm going to have to build myself. Stay tuned for that, guys. I've got about 8 or 10 videos planned for that, and they're all coming up in the next 2 weeks. So that's it this time, guys. I hope you enjoyed the update video. Tell me if you guys have any questions, and I'll try and answer them in the comments, and I'll see you next time on Full Tilt Drift.